Alrighty, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Today you will need a Canvas and a Kahoot tab because we are gonna play Kahoot today. So we'll go ahead and get started with our warm up. We do not have a pair deck today, so you can just type your answers in the chat box. Which pathogen, by being the smallest, is able to spread and infect the greatest number of hosts? Which one is it? All right, so I'm seeing lots of different responses. We got a lot of C's and a lot of D's. Which one is it? The correct answer is D. It is a virus. The virus is the smallest pathogen that we have. All right, so question number two. Some health professionals have recommended that children use insect repellent before going outside. Using insect repellent is a good way to keep insects from doing what? Is it reproducing, laying eggs, dying, or spreading the diseases? The correct answer is D. Good job. It is to help from spreading diseases. All right. It's bug repellent. It stops the bugs from coming to you and biting you and possibly giving you a disease, which is something nobody really wants. All right. So, a few misconceptions from yesterday's class. From talking to some people were a little confused. So, vaccines can only really be helped to spread the to prevent the spread of viruses. There are very few, like very few bacterias that have vaccines that prevent you from getting it. Most of them are viruses. So most people think that it's only viruses that are that vaccines are used to prevent. There are very few bacterial. Most bacteria are killed or treated with antibiotics. The thing that is going to help you kind of separate the two is because we know that bacteria is a living thing, and we also see the word bio here. Viruses don't tend to be considered living things in most circles. I know there's a debate out about that. We kind of talked about that a few days ago. But antibiotics are going to be used to kill bacteria, but vaccines are used to prevent viruses. They do not kill viruses, but they are there to prevent you from getting it. Most viruses don't necessarily have a cure just because of their structures. There are some antiviral medications you can take that might slow the symptoms or try to stop the virus from destroying whatever tissues that it is targeting. But most viruses cannot actually be cured, which is why you take vaccines to prevent you from getting them in the first place. You cannot use antibiotics for viruses. Antibiotics are for bacteria and bacteria only. You also cannot use a vaccine on non-infectious diseases because those are ones that are either transferred genetically or it comes from some kind of mutation that may happen in a person's cell. So our examples from that were like diabetes and heart disease and cancer, which you can't get a vaccine to stop you from getting a cancer or stop you from getting diabetes or anything like that. Lastly is I want to address this cheating issue that I've been seeing quite a bit. Stop copying stuff from Google. Chances are you guys are copying the wrong thing anyway, so they're not even the correct answers to the question. I was grading some stuff yesterday and found the exact source that a lot of people were copying and pasting from. So just stop. It's not helping you out. People are getting bad grades on tests and on quizzes. You're not getting the points for the things that you copy and pasted because they're incorrect. If you have questions about stuff, ask. We have a chat box. All of that information comes straight to me. It doesn't go to each other. The only person you're allowed to chat with is me. We can do breakout rooms. I can answer all of this stuff for you and help you understand it. But stop just finding random stuff on Google and pasting it in your documents and thinking that that's going to work, because they don't even, half the time, it doesn't even answer the question. Come on, guys. But then it also does not help you with your test, because if you don't learn the material, then you're not going to do well on your test, and then we get upset. So that's my PSA for today. I'm going to go ahead and explain to you what we're going to be doing today. We are going to play Kahoot to review for our quiz tomorrow, but I know some people in my earlier classes preferred to go ahead and get started on working on their one-pagers and didn't want to play the Kahoots. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you what you need to do, so that way if you don't want to play, you can do that. So your posters themselves, they can be digital or they can be on paper. They have to include all four of your pathogens: parasite, fungus, bacteria, and our viruses. And you should have information about all of them. Your one pagers should be colorful. They should include pictures of each of our pathogens and be very creative. You should not be using any of the things that we have talked about in class as we've been going over it. So I should not see athlete's foot or was tapeworms or something else. We talked about coronavirus in class. That stuff that we already talked about is kind of common knowledge to everybody, which is why I kind of use those. So find some different stuff to do, so that way we can add some diversity to our posters. You do have the option to do it either in a Google slide or in a Google drawing, but it has to be on one page, which is why it's called a one-pager. It should not be multiple slides. I will show you after we play our Kahoot how to actually do that, so that way you know how to set it up and you are good to go. All right, so we're going to head on over to Kahoot and we are going to go ahead and play. All right, so congratulations to our winners. We are going to go to Canvas and go ahead and start working on our project. So we're going to click Modules. We're going to go down to today's date and go to, why is Ecosystem still open? I don't know. I'm going to go down to Pathogen Wanted Posters, which is what we will be working on today. Now, what we are doing, here is an example of if you decide that you wanted to do it on paper, that's an example of what it could look like. Doesn't have to, but it's just kind of how it could possibly look like. With our web pagers, all of our requirements are here. You can choose to do it as a Google slide or as a Google drawing, up to you, on paper. Or you can use construction paper or copy paper, up to you, but either way it does need to be in color. The examples you are going to use should not be the ones we used in class. So we should not be using athlete's foot. We talked about tapeworms a lot. We talked about coronavirus. We talked about what else did we talk about? I'll let the amoeba slide because there are a bunch of different types of parasites with amoebas and all the rest of that. But we talked a lot about ticks the other day, so maybe not those. But we are, oh, my screen's frozen. I'm sorry. Thanks for telling me. There we go. So once again, those are the pictures of the paper version of it. But we should not, like I said, be doing the stuff. I want you guys to actually look up some stuff, do a little research, and find some different viruses and bacterias, fungi, parasites, different pathogens that are causing different types of illnesses, not just kind of the ones everybody normally knows. All right. So if all of your finished project should fit on one page. If you notice, these is literally one piece of paper. It's divided into sections. It's all on one side, and that's the way that it should look. Even if you are doing a Google slide, it should all be on one slide. I have, from one of my earlier classes, I recorded a video where I showed how to actually build this in a Google slide, and I can show it to you at the end. But for this recording, I'm going to show you how to do it in a Google drawing, so that way you guys guys have both options for whichever one you decide to do. Um, there's a certain way your page should be set up. It should have the title pathogens on it somewhere. The paper should be divided into 4 sections, whether it's a digital paper or if it is a physical piece of paper. Each section should be labeled with the name of your pathogen. It's either going to be a bacteria, virus, fungi, or a parasite. You should have at least 3 facts about all 4 of your pathogens for a total of 12 facts. One of them is, what conditions does it live in? Does it live in humans? Does it live in animals? Does it live in soil? Does it prefer hot or cold or humid or dark or light or whatever? So where does it live? How is it transmitted? Is it airborne? Can it be transmitted by touch? And these could very well have multiple answers to those questions. How is it reproduced? Is it through binary fission? Is it sexual or asexually reproduced? And then the third one is student choice. You get to find an interesting fact about each of the pathogens, something that you thought was interesting that you learned this week. Maybe you did Google and do a little bit of research and you found some interesting facts about those specific pathogens, and you want to include that there. But you do have to have all 3 of those requirements. Lastly, we have pictures. We should have 3 pictures of each of our examples, and they should be a labeled picture, so that way we know what they are, because you did the research, so of course you know what they are, but I don't know what they are, so I need you to tell me. It should be creative, and it should be in color. It should be easy to read, not jumbled up, and all the rest of that. If you need to know exactly how, yes, I see in the chat, can we get extra credit if it's gross? You know I love the grossness, so yeah, I could probably make that happen. If you need to know exactly how you're going to be graded, you know I love rubrics. It is right here at the bottom for you. So it tells you get 10 points for setting up your page right. And we're about to do this together, so everybody should get those 10 points off the top. Your facts, you have to have 12 of them. You get 15 points for those. You get 15 points for your pictures. And then the last 10 comes from how your poster looks. Is it colorful? Is it neat? Is it easy to read? Can I see the pictures? Are they labeled correctly? All of that sort of thing. Organization, neatness, and color are going to go for your last 10 points. All right. If you are looking at this on your screen, I know with mine, it doesn't always, when I'm in student view, it doesn't always show the things that are embedded, but there is a digital example that is here. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that digital example will not get you all of the points you need for setup because it is missing a few things that was done on purpose. So make sure that you are following the directions and you're looking at your rubrics to make sure that you get all of the points possible. So if you would like to go ahead and get started and you are planning on doing a Google Slides presentation, if you already know how to do it, go for it and go ahead and take care of it. Like I said, I put a video in here so that can help guide you as to how to set this up. But if you would prefer to do a Google drawing, that is the one we are about to do together as a class. So if you would rather, whichever way you want to go, you can go ahead and work on it. We can work on it together during this time. So if you're going to use a Google drawing like I am, I suggest you go ahead and open it. If you click here, it'll make a copy for you. It'll be a blank page that looks just like this. All right, and we can set it up together. Give you a few seconds to get there. While we're getting there, the same thing with our Google Slides as well as our Google Drawings. And this, if you're doing a Google slide, it'll be right here. There are specific areas that we are allowed to work in. I know sometimes when I give you guys like Venn diagrams or things to label, I might put the boxes that we're going to drag into the image over here on the side. The directions might be over here and all of that. That is because the information that are in these margins will not show up on your drawing. So you have to make sure that whatever you're drawing is within this workable space. It looks kind of like a checkerboard. That's in this space. So that is the only area that we can create our image. Same with our, if we're doing a slides presentation, this somewhat paper shape right here is our workable space. If you add a picture or something that is outside of this space, it'll get cut off when you put it in present mode. So you won't be able to see it. So make sure when you're building that you're building within this space that is provided. All right. So the first thing that I'm going to do, I know for my setup, I have to have a title, I have to have 4 sections, and I have to have my 4 pathogens labeled. So the easiest way for me to do that, and y'all know I like to work smarter, not harder, I'm going to insert a table, and I'm going to do a 2 by 2 table. That automatically gives me 4 boxes. I'm going to move it up here. You see how the red is telling me where my borders are. I can drag my corners so it comes over and then drag it down. And that is going to make my 4 boxes. I personally think the lines are too small and I want them bigger. So I'm going to select my table by clicking on it. And I'm going to change the weight of the borders. You do that by selecting a different number. I don't like the gray. I think it's boring. Y'all know purple's my favorite color, so we're going to go with purple. Yeah, we'll go with that shade of purple. Oh, yeah, we'll do that. And so my paper is now divided into 4s. One of my requirements, done. Next thing I have to do, I have to do the title of my drawing, which is going to be pathogen. So I'm going to insert a text box. You do that by clicking this box with the T. I also want it to have some color with it because I don't like it being clear. So I'm going to go to the paint bucket and I'm going to change the color. That's a pretty color. So I'm going to change it, and then I'm going to insert some text. I'm going to change my font. I like the bubblies. I want it bold. I don't want black because we're not going to be able to see that. Let's go with a light pinky color. And I'm going to name it pathogens. It's not how you spell pathogens. We know Miss Ewing can't spell all the time. I forgot the T. That's what happened. All right. I like mine centered, so I'm going to center it. I'm going to center it in the middle. And then I'm going to make it bigger so it takes up most of my space without going to 2 lines. 2 lines. So 22 seems to be the magic number. So I'm put it right there in the middle. Next thing I have to do is label my individual boxes. I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to get me a text box. Draw it right here. I think I want my text boxes to be colored. Maybe I'll just do the reverse. I'll go with the pink. I want my text to be centered in the middle of it. And I want it to be bold. I want that font again. I think 18 should be good. And what color text? I think I want that with that color. So we just flipped it. So then I'm gonna go with virus. Nope, I'm not. Next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna copy and paste my box. By doing that, I make it. I kind of ensure that all of my text boxes are going to be the same. They're already formatted the way I want them. I can just put them in my different sections. And then I can just type my titles in there. So this is going to be virus. I can shorten it if I want to. So I can move it around. I can make it skinnier. That's what I want to do. And then I'm going to go with bacteria. It's too big, I feel. Because notice how much space I have to work with in my box, so you can adjust as needed, up to you. All right, and then I have fungi. Just click and drag your handles, make it a little smaller, put it in the corner. You can format kind of at the end once you get all your stuff kind of in place, is what I typically do. I can't spell today, y'all. Friday Eve is kicking in. It's definitely Friday Eve. All right, so now I have my labels. So at the bare minimum, I have the things I need for setup. I have my titles, titles of the whole thing. I have my individual pathogens, and it is divided into 4 sections, which is what I needed to know how to do. So from there, the next thing that it says that I need, the facts about the topics. I have to have 3 things: the conditions that it lives in, how it's transmitted and reproduced, and then my third choice that I want to do. Now, the easiest thing to do with that is to go ahead and insert another text box, because I can. Maybe I don't want it that color though. I think I'm gonna make this one transparent because I can change the whole color of my boxes. So say for instance, let me type some in there first so we don't lose it. I'm going to do a bulleted list. We don't know what that means. but that's fact one, that's fact two, and that's fact three. All right, so if I know I need to add some color to my page. Say I wanted to viruses to be green. Ooh, that clash is bad. Light green. I want this one to be maybe a light blue. This one to be, we gotta have some purple in there. Gotta have some purple. And then maybe this one to be a lovely orange. That way, I now have color in my background. If I keep my text box transparent, then I can make it so I can see exactly what's on there. Now, the lovely thing about putting your stuff in a text box is that notice how I can move all of the stuff around. You could do this in the slides as well, but I can move it around and it makes formatting at the end way easier. So for the sake of time, I'm going to copy and paste my boxes just so we have one in each box and know what we're doing. I think I did too many. It's okay though, because I can delete the other one. Oh no, that was perfect. All right, so that is in there. So I have my three facts, which is what I need. The last thing I need are my three pictures. So the easiest way for that to do that is you go to Insert. We're going to go to Image, and then we're going to search the web. You get a lovely box that pops up right here. And so for coronavirus, since you guys can't do it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to look up coronavirus, and it's going to pop up with some lovely images for me. All I'm going to do is click it. I'm going to drag it. When it pops over there, it will probably need to be resized. Look how big that is. We can't see anything. So you're going to have to play with it, resize it a little bit. Maybe you want to crop it. If you crop it, you click it 3 times, and these little handles will pop up so you can cut off some of the extra space that you might not necessarily... Oh, wrong handles. Those handles, there we go. It's the straight line handles, not the blue ones. But you guys crop pictures all the time, so I feel like you guys should know how to do this. But all you have to do, resize it, whatever size that you feel that you need. Now, this does not have a title on it. We know what coronavirus kind of looks like because we've talked about it before. We've seen it in images. But if you pick something cool that we don't know what it is, you need to add another text box and then put the name of it in there. So... Oh, I spelled it wrong. I can't spell today, y'all. It's just not working for me. But we are not going to let that hold us back. That is why Google Spell Check is an awesome tool. Recognize your struggle. We know I can't spell. All right, so my picture's there. It's labeled. I can add the other 2 right there, and then you are good to go. So that is how you build the whole thing. We put our background in. We've changed the colors. We put our text boxes in. Say, for instance, you ran out of space and you might need to adjust it by moving it up. Maybe you need to change. It doesn't really have spacing issues because I don't think I added extra spaces. It could be... some of them that you may have a space before or after, it'll say remove here if you do. And you could just take that out and move it. You can move your titles wherever you need them to be. Just make sure that they are within your workable space so that they can stay where they need to be. And that is how you do your poster in Google Drawings. Here is the one that I was working on for the one that I did earlier today with Google Slides. It's the same process. You're just doing it in Google Slides. All of the same tools are there that you can do it with that way. And like I said, if you would prefer to do it that way, the video is linked there. So strictly up to you how you decide that you want to do it, but just make sure that it gets done and that it looks awesome. If you're watching this video and you still have questions, please send me a message in my Canvas inbox and I will answer it as soon as I can.